All right, so these are the assignments that are due at the end of the week. Today we're going to work on the warm up. It's the 26th. So we have our warm up that you should have already started or completed. We're going to work on elimination method. We didn't get to elimination yesterday, so today we're going to do elimination method, okay? We have homework tonight. We need to make sure that we also review our notes, okay? Let's take out our planner so we can write down our homework for tonight. Does anybody need a planner sheet? Planner sheet? Yeah. All right. So let's write in our planner. Was everybody finished writing that down? Anybody still copying? This is week 4. This is Tuesday. I'm going to write our stuff in pen. Math 1. We have Math 1 homework. We need to be working on already. Tonight I can make a homework help video. I didn't make one for yesterday. Some people said they was waiting on that. I don't know why. I told you I wasn't going to do that, but whatever. I'll do that. Don't forget, we have a systems quiz at the end of the week. Please make sure that you review your notes. And I'm going to put that in here, review notes. If you don't understand something, please ask for help and come to tutoring. We have tutoring on Wednesday. If you need an additional or another day, then you just need to tell me. Okay. All right. Anybody still copying? Okay. All right. Let's look at the warm-up. Okay, it says determine the x-intercepts of the quadratic function. So that means the first thing you want to do is factor it first, and then set the factors equal to 0 and solve. Okay, so that's how you find your x-intercepts. So let's factor this. This first number up here is a 1. So since this first number up here is a 1, you already know this is a trinomial. There's not a GCF, anything I could take out. I'm going to have 2 binomials. What am I going to put in each binomial? Yes, I'm going to put x in each. So this is x and this is x. How do I figure out what to put here? What am I going to do? Yes.
You do a factor tree.
No.
Well, not factor tree, but the t-chart.
The t-chart. All right, so what number goes in this first column here?
10.
Positive 10, this number. And then what number goes here? 7. And we find in the sum the 2 numbers that add up to be a positive 7. Okay, so what 2 numbers can be multiplied to give me a positive 10? And when I add them together, and when I add those 2 numbers together, I get a positive 7. Yes. I say it louder, baby. I'm sorry. 5 and 2. Positive 5 and positive 2. When I add, I was going to put a plus here. When I say 5 plus 2, yes, I do get 7. So what am I going to put in this first parentheses here? X what?
Plus 5.
X plus 5. And what do I put here?
X plus 2.
X plus 2. Any questions about that? Now, in order to figure out what my x-intercepts are, I factored it. Now I set each factor equal to 0. So this is x plus 5 is equal to 0. And this is x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay? Any questions about that? No. Come on, you need to be working on what we're working on. This right here. You can do that later. right, so what does that give me here? What am I going to do to get x by itself?
Subtract 5.
Very good. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. This is gone, and I'm left with x is equal to what number?
-5.
So what's my first ordered pair?
-5.
-5, comma 0. Okay. Here, how do I get x by itself here?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2 on both sides. So that gives me x is equal to what number?
-2.
-2. So how do I write that as an ordered pair?
-2, comma 0.
Mm-hmm. Any questions about how I got that? I'm going to pause for the calls. Okay, so let's do this next one. It says determine the correlation coefficient R of a quadratic function. So the first thing that we do, I'm going to clear my calculator. 2 plus 7, 1, 2. My weak numbers are going to be my x values. My values here are going to be y. Total value. So to type in these values, where do I go in my calculator? Stat. Then I press what? Enter on edit. And let's type in our x values, 1 through 10. Okay, let's type in the y values. Oh, you know what I did? I typed over my numbers. Sorry, y'all. Yes, baby.
The second one, you put 260.
Okay. 250, thank you. All right. After we do that, now we got to cut diagnostic on so we can do quadratic regress. Where do I go? We did this the other day. Second catalog. Very good. And then where am I going to find it? At the D. Some people can type in alpha and then D. It puts you closer. I just press this. Sammy, do you see what you're doing? You're not doing what we're doing. And then later on, you're going to want to know how to do that. You got to do what we're doing, okay? There's two of them. It's diagnostic off and diagnostic on. Please make sure you click the one that says diagnostic on. And when you go to diagnostic on, what do? Press enter how many times? Twice. Once here and then once again. You have to see the word done. Is there anybody lost with how to put diagnostic on? Please hold it up so I can see that diagnostic on is done. That's what I asked you. I said, you can type it in. You didn't do nothing. Press second catalog, 0. Find diagnostic on. Where's your couch? Okay, then get another one. It's 27. Okay. Don't have it. Good. Very good. Did you type the numbers in? No, but they type the numbers in. So go diagnostic and go back and type those numbers in. Diagnostic. Don't let me move on. Enter and then enter again. Now go to step.
Put that in controls.
And type in the X values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then type in for the rest. Got it? Got it?
I don't know what it randomly took me to this.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it
You
did.
randomly press that.
Oh,
Go to second, 0. And go down to diagnostics. You're so used to skating your way through life. You're not gonna be able to keep skating, honey. Your skate's gonna go flat. Here. Press enter. Press enter again. Okay. Not you. Sorry, you good. You're good. I already checked yours. You need to use our calculator so you'll know how to do it there, because you can't use that for this there. Good. Good. You have it? Good. Very good. Ian, do you have it, babe? Second 0. Now go to start. Enter. Good. So that was
Put the batteries in.
You're good. Second 0. Diagnostic on. Press the arrow key down. So you see diagnostic on.
Shut up, Jay. It's fine.
Very good. Very good. Did you type it? You got the numbers in?
yes.
All right. After you do that, go to stat. You already typed the numbers in, right? You typed these in. Everybody got that in? It's just a couple people that haven't. Please type those in. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, after you stat edit, make sure the numbers are in. Now, let's go to stat. Go over to calc. And this is a quadratic, so we're doing quadratic reg. Which one of these is quadratic reg? 5 is. And press what? Enter. Okay? Now, my R is right here, but it's square. Mm-hmm. So what we do is find the square root of that. So square root, and then this number, just type in 3 to 4 numbers. 0.8 what? 2529. That's enough. And press enter. And what does that give you?
0.9.
Okay. What kind of correlation is that?
Strong.
It's a strong.
Strong.
It's a strong correlation. Okay. A is negative, so the line is going down, but this is a strong. Okay. This is very strong. R is strong. It's not like linear, but this is a strong correlation. It's strong because it's a 0.9.
Oh, because it's close to 1.
It's close to 1. Any questions? All right. Let's graph this one here. In order to graph this, I'm going to write, it has to be in slope-intercept form, okay? Y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to write this out to the side and put it in that form. So I got to get y by itself. What do I do to get y by itself?
Subtract 2x.
Subtract 2x on both sides. This is gone, and I'm left with negative y, negative 2x plus 4. Oops, sorry, y'all. All right, so now how do I get rid of the negative?
Divide by 1.
Divide everything by -1. So now that gives me, what happens to the inequality? It flips. So you have y, instead of it being less than, it's going to be greater than positive 2x minus what? Minus 4. So now we're going to graph this. So we label our m and our b. What's our m here? 2. So we got 2 over 1, rise over run. And what's our b here?
-4.
All right. So we're going to find -4 on the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And with that, from this point, where am I going to go? Up or down?
Up.
Up how many?
2.
1, 2, and to the right what? 1. 1, 2, right 1. 1, 2, to the 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 right 1. Points in the opposite direction. Down 2, to the left 1. Down 2, left 1. It's hard to see those lines.
Yeah.
It's like they really light. I don't know why it came out like that. All right, so this is less than, there's no equal to. Since there's no equal to sign, we're going to put a dash line, and we will get into this next week. We hadn't done this yet. We're supposed to already have done this. That's why it's in the warm-up. But we're a little bit behind where we need to be. So this is a dash line because it's no equal to. It's just greater than. So now since it's greater than, we have to shade greater than. Is that above the line or below? It's above. So you shade above the line.
Oh. Okay. But why do we shade?
Every point that's in this area, the shaded region, is a solution. Because that's going to make it the sentence true. It's going to be greater than whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So every point that's in here is a solution.
Is it above because it's a positive line?
It's above because it's greater than. This symbol right here is greater than. If it was less than, then it'd be below. And it's a dash line because there's no equal to. If it's equal to, then it's a solid line. And we cover that next week. All right, any questions? Please put this away. Actually, let me look at the homework real quick because most of us didn't do that. 3 people did the homework. Literally, I counted. I count all the time. All right, let's look at this first one. All right, this is the function here. What kind of function is this?
Quadratic.
How do you know it's a quadratic function?
There's the x squared.
Because it has an x squared or t squared term. This models the appropriate height, so that means your y has to be the total height of an object in t seconds. So this x or t represents the number of seconds that it's launched. Okay? What's the starting height in this problem? What's the starting height? 60. That's this. This is the starting height. What's the speed that it's going at?
20.
What is 20? This is the speed. It's 20. It's, where is it, feet? Did it say? What's the height? Object after t. It doesn't say feet or anything like that, does it? But this is the speed. It's 20 feet, miles, yards, whatever, per second. This is the initial speed or starting speed. Any questions? It's like your slope. Okay? And this one is your initial velocity. But when you think about this, most of the time, if we're talking about a real life scenario, it's going to be a negative 16. Okay? And I can put initial velocity or starting velocity or final. It's just velocity. Let's just put velocity. Okay. And usually it's negative 16. Usually.
Can you move the...
Mm-hmm. All right. How many seconds does it take the object to hit the ground? So if this is the parabola here, it's starting at, the starting amount is up here at 60. Okay. We don't want this part of the line right here. We want this right here. Any questions? So how do we find this? Because this is where it hits the ground. This is our x-intercept. This is the x-intercept, but this is the x-intercept that we want. How do we find where it hits the ground? What could we do? Yes. Say again, babe. You could factor it and set everything to 0. Okay, so we got negative 5t squared plus 20t plus 60. All right, is there a GCF here? Yeah. Look for GCF first, okay? What's the GCF? We could take out a 5. Or let's take out a negative 5. Deal with it. So when we take out a negative 5, that's going to give us t squared, right? What is that going to give us here? Minus what? 4t. Somebody said. Good. Sit up, babe. You okay?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. And what do we get here? Negative 12. Okay. So now let's see if we can factor this. Remember, this is a 1 up front. Okay. So we're going to have 2 binomials, right? Leave this out to the side. All right. What are we going to put in each parenthesis? T. Okay. All right. How do we figure out what these two numbers are going to be? You factor. No, T chart. Sorry. And what's going to be in this first column? This is negative 12. And what's this going to be? Negative 4. So we have to think, what two numbers can be multiplied to give us a negative 12? But when we add them together, we get a negative 4. Yes. Negative 6.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Negative 6 and positive 2. Good job, babe. Negative 6 plus 2 gives us that negative 4. Great job. So now, what do we put here? Minus 6. Very good, or negative 6. And what do we put here? So set each of these equal to 0. So we got negative 5 is equal to 0. This is not equal. We don't need that. Then we have t minus 6 is equal to 0. What's this going to be equal to?
6.
This is going to be 6 because you're going to add 6 to both sides, and you get t is equal to what? 6. Okay? Let's do this one. Set this equal to 0. How do we solve for t here? Subtract 2, and t is equal to what? So which answer makes sense? The 6 seconds. So how long does it take? Because this is negative 2 here, and this is positive 6 here. So it makes sense that in 6 seconds, that's when what is this in this scenario? The object hits the ground. So the answer is 6 seconds. Did anybody get that right out of the 3 or so people that did it? Okay, good. You lied. Stop lying, bro. He didn't even do nothing. All right. Okay, let's look at this one. This is one I understand you don't get because I only did this in the video when I was absent. Okay, so that's why you don't know this one. All right, so let me model this for you in person. So the first positive integer we're going to say is x. The next positive integer we're going to say is x plus 1. And the third positive integer we're going to say is x plus what? 2. So that means if this is 4, then what would this be equal to? 5. And what would this be equal to? 6. Any questions? Okay, good. So these are your consecutive, that's back-to-back numbers. These are your consecutive integers. That's how you declare them. That's how you do it. All right, so now it's saying what is the smallest, so this is the smallest. What is the smallest of the consecutive positive integers? So we're looking for x. If the product, what does product mean? That means we're multiplying. I'm going to write as I go, okay? If we multiply the product of the smaller two integers, which of these is the smaller two? Very good, these two. So multiply those together because it says product. So we got x times x plus 1. That's product. Got it? That's equal to, how do we write 5 less than 5 times the larger? How do we write that? 5 less than 5 times the largest. Yes. Very good. 5. This is the larger one. You multiply them together minus the 5 because less than reverses the order. This comes first. This comes second. Okay. If I have $10 less than you, then I'm going to take what? I'm going to subtract $10 from that amount. So it's going to be whatever you have minus 10. This is going to come second. All right. So now let's solve this as a regular equation. What do I do first to solve this as a regular equation? Somebody said distributive. We got distributive on both sides. So we have x times x. What's x times x?
X squared.
So we got x squared plus what? X. Bring down the equal. Now we're going to multiply 5 times x. What's 5 times x? 5x. Now we're going to multiply 5 times 2. What's that? 10. And bring down the what? Let's combine like terms before we start moving stuff. We can't combine these because they're not alike. Anything, can we combine anything over here?
10 minus 5.
Which is what?
5.
Now, in order to solve, we got to move everything to the same side so that y is equal to 0 and we can factor. Okay, I'm going to draw a line here so I can factor over here. All right, so let's move all of this over here so 0 is on this side. So I'm going to subtract 5x. This gives me x squared minus what?
Minus 4x.
4x. And 5 is left on this side. So now what do I have to do to get 0 on this side? Subtract 5. So now the terms that the trinomial that I'm going to factor is x squared minus 4x minus 5. And this side is equal to 0. All right, so now what do I do? What do I do to factor this? Is there a GCF?
No.
No, not for all three, other than one, no. So now I have 2 parentheses. What do I put in each parentheses? X. Now what do I do? Factor. How do I do that? Make my T-chart. What goes in this first column? What goes in the second? Negative 4. Okay. All right. So what two numbers can be multiplied together? Negative 5 times what?
Times
1. So negative 5 plus 1 gives me a negative 4. Great job. So what do I put in this first parentheses?
Negative 5.
And the second one?
Plus 1.
Plus 1.
Oh.
That's okay, baby. Now what do I do? Say again, baby. Very good. So this is going to give me x is equal to what here? 5, because we're going to add 5 to both sides. And this is going to give me what?
1. Negative 1.
Because we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. So which one of these makes the most sense?
5.
The 5. How do we know 5 is the correct answer?
This is positive.
Because it says positive integer. So 5 is your answer. Any questions about that? All right. The other two, I think you should kind of be able to go back and do on your own. If you still struggle, then I can put it in the homework help. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right. You can always come to tutor and ask more questions if you need me to slow that down. Take out your notebook, please. We're doing elimination method. This is page 13. Those sheets that, if you already have that sheet, can you pass it back up to the front so that I can have enough to give to my next class? Because they won't even notice that it's in the seat. Just pass them back up. Let me pause. Here we go. All right, so with elimination method, you are going to eliminate by using adding and subtracting to to get rid of one of the variables, and then use substitution to find the other variable. Okay, and we're going to do a couple examples. That's substitution. All right, here we go. Okay, so the best way to do it is jump right into it and explain each step as I go. So this is the first example. Okay, we have 3x minus 5y is equal to a negative 16. That's the first equation, and it's written in standard form. You got A, you got B, and then C on the other side. This is linear, okay? And then you got 2x plus the 5y is equal to 31. Notice how both of them have your A term here, B, and then C here, okay? Most of them are going to be set up just this way. If it's not, with using the elimination method, it always needs to be set up this way. The x terms, the y terms, and the constant, the numbers that have no variable attached to it, be on the other side. Yes? This is a separate example.
Oh.
I'm sorry. This is a separate example. Okay. All right, so first thing that we're going to do is think about which of these can we eliminate by just adding and subtracting. So let's look at the x's. Can I eliminate these, which means cancel them out? If I add these, does that equal to 0? No. If I subtract them, do they equal to 0? No. So I can't eliminate the x's by just using addition and subtraction. Let's look at the y's. Can I add these to get 0?
Yes.
Yes, I can. So I'm going to use adding to eliminate one of the variables. So now we're going to add. It's already lined up perfectly. So we're going to add these. So now when I add 3x plus 2x, what do I get?
That's 5x.
This is 5x. When I add a negative 5y plus a positive 5y, what does that give me?
0.
They eliminate. That gives me 0. Bring down the equal. When I add a negative 16 plus 31, what does that give me? 15. Positive 15. Any questions? So now what do I do to solve for x? Divide by 5. And so now my x coordinate is equal to what?
3.
My x coordinate is equal to 3. So far, a part of my solution, I have my x coordinate, and my x coordinate is 3. So now I need to find the what?
The y.
The y coordinate. Any ideas as to how I can figure out what the y coordinate is? Yes. Very good. I can take this 3 and plug it in for x in one of the equations. Choose the easiest one. Which equation do you feel is the easiest? The first one or the second one?
The first one.
Most people say second because, they don't like to use negative. So I'm going to use the second. Does it matter which one? No, it doesn't. You're going to get the same answer. Make sure I copied it right. Now we're going to substitute 3 in the place of x. So this is 2 times 3 plus 5y is equal to 31. Okay? So what does this give me here?
6.
This is 6 plus 5y is equal to 31. Now we're solving for y here. Are y'all okay? Moving too fast? Sammy, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so now how do I get y? How do I get y by itself?
Subtract 6.
Subtract 6 on both sides. This is gone, and I'm left with 5y is equal to, what's 31 minus 6?
25.
25. Okay. So now what am I going to do to get y by itself?
Divide by 5.
Divide both sides by 5. So when I divide by 5, that gives me y is equal to what number? 5. So what's my solution here? 3, 5. This is the point in which they cross. Any questions? Is there anyone that's lost? Okay. Wherever the lines cross each other, that's going to be the solution. Are you ready for another one?
Mm-hmm.
And the elimination method that we use elimination. We use the elimination method of addition. So that's what I need to write. Yes, baby. No. Elimination method of addition. No, because you really don't know what's going on. And I'd rather you be thirsty than lost. I said adding, it's addition. As soon as I finish explaining, then you can go get your water, okay? All right, so let's do number 2. All right. Let's do this one. We got 5s. This is examples that's in the notebook. It's not on that worksheet yet. We're not on that yet. So we got 5s plus 2t. This is your x, this is your y, but you use 2 different letters. That's fine. That's okay. That's legal. And this is 9s plus 2t is equal to 22. Okay? So we're going to use elimination to figure out, we're going to eliminate one of the variables to solve the other variable, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so now let's look at the s's. Can I add these 2 together to get 0? No. Can I subtract them?
No.
Not and get 0? No. Can I add these 2 together to get 0? No. Can I subtract them? Yes. So I'm going to use elimination of subtraction, okay? So let's subtract here. So when I subtract, what's 5s minus 9s?
Negative 4s.
Negative 4s. What's 2t minus 2t? 0. This is gone now. Bring down the equal. What is 6 minus 22?
Negative 14.
Negative.
Yeah, 16.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that so far? Now what do we do to get s by itself?
Divide by negative 4.
Divide both sides by negative 4. And that gives us s is equal to what? 4. Positive 4. That's fine. Positive 4. All right. So which one is going to go first? X, then Y. So we know that this comes first. This will be S. This will be T. ABC order, right? So we got 4. And now we're looking for what?
The T.
The T. So which equation do you feel like is the easy to use? The first one or the second one? Me too. I think the first one's easy. But does it matter which one you decide to use? No, you're going to get the same answer, okay? So now I'm going to substitute 4 in for S. So this is going to be 5 times 4 plus 2t is equal to 6. So let's simplify. We got 4 times, or 5 times 4 is what?
20.
So we got 20 plus 2t is equal to 6. Now what do we do to solve for t? Subtract 20 on both sides. When I subtract 20 on both sides, this gives me a positive 2t is equal to what number?
Negative 14.
Negative 14. Now how do I solve for t?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. And that gives me t is equal to what number?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. So what's my solution here?
4 comma negative 7.
This is the solution. Okay, how are we feeling so far? I know it's just 2 problems, but how do you feel about that? Thumbs up this way. I'm good. Still a little confused. I don't understand at all. Okay. Well, you wouldn't, because you've been laughing at your sidekick. All right. Okay. That's most of. All right. That's good. Okay, let's try another one. This time, Dalton, y'all need to stop, flirting with each other. And I need y'all to actually pay attention to what I'm doing, okay? All right, number 3. Let's try it, okay? I'm not hating on y'all. I just want you to make sure you understand this. Y'all can do that funny business later. I mean, not in that way, but you know what I'm saying. Come on, make sure you're listening this time so you can kind of get a better understanding. I'm going to do this one a little bit slower because we had some other people that didn't understand it, so we're going to move just a little bit slower to make sure we get it. All right. So first thing, we're going to see which one of these, if we add or subtract, that we can cancel them out. That means we can get 0. So let's look at the x's first, because you see the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, and these are lined up as well. Your constants. So let's look at the x's first. Can I add those? Can I say negative 4x plus a positive 4x, and that give me 0?
Yes.
Yes. So I can use addition to eliminate. Does that make sense, Dalton? Okay. Sammy, does that make sense? Okay. Donnie, are you good with it? I think you had thumbs up. Was you pretty good with it? Okay. All right. So when you add these together, they eliminate. That's a 0. So let's add the y's. We got 2y plus negative 3y. What does that give you? Negative y. Bring down the equal. Then we have 8 plus negative 10. What does that give you?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So now what do we do to get y by itself?
Divide by negative 1.
Divide by negative 1. And that gives me y is equal to what? 2. So far, we have a y coordinate of 2. So now we need to find x. All right. So any ideas? What do we do to figure out what x is? Yes, Peyton?
Substitute the 2 into one of the equations.
Very good. We're going to substitute 2 for y in one of the equations. Which equation do you find to be easiest, the first one or the second? Yeah, I think the first one too. Does it matter which one?
No.
No, it doesn't. Okay, so now we're going to replace y with 2. Are we okay? Y'all all right? Brian, are you okay with this? Yeah. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. So we got negative 4. We got x plus 2 times, we're going to replace y with 2, okay? So now what do we do in order to get x by itself? Because we're solving for x now. We multiply. So bring this down and we multiply. What does this give us?
4.
We get 4. Okay. So now what do we do to get x by itself? Subtract this 4 from both sides. This is gone, and we're left with negative 4x is equal to what on this side? 4. Now what do we do? Divide by negative 4 on both sides. And that gives us x is equal to what? Negative 1. So this is going to be negative 1. Any questions about How we get that is a solution. All right, so now this is your turn. You practice this now. On that worksheet that I gave you, I need you to do the first 3 problems. I need you to do the first 3. Of course, we're going to do some others, but we don't have a lot of time. So let's try to get the first 3 completed. 1, 2, 3. Let's do those, please. Please make sure you do all 3 problems in the notebook, okay? If you have questions and you need help, just let me know, okay? All right, so yeah, let's do this one together, babe. Okay, so the first thing you're going to look at, they're already lined up for you, okay? So you're going to look to see if adding or subtracting will bring these to 0. So if I look at this, if I look at the first 2, negative 4x plus a positive 4x, does that equal 0? Yes. So you can add to eliminate, and you can eliminate the x's. So when I add these 2 together, that's 0. They're gone. Does that make sense? So now I got to add these. So what's negative 2 plus 8? That's 6y. Very good, babe. And then we got a negative 12 plus a negative 24. What does that give me? A negative what? Do this. This is 6, and this is what? 3. Does that make sense? So now how do you solve for y? What do you do to get y by itself? Divide by what number, babe? Divide by 6. Got to get rid of this 6. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, so divide both sides by 6. So 6 divided by 6 gives you 1, so that's 1y. And then negative 36 divided by 6, what does that give you? A negative 6. You got that so far? And now you're going to take the negative 6 and plug it into one of these. Which equation do you think looks easier? The first one? You said driver's ed. You got driver's ed already?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that. All right, so plug in negative 6. Thank you, baby. And solve for x. Got it? Okay.